The presence of fertile black soil in the depths of the Amazon rainforest remains an enduring mystery that could point to an ancient lost advanced civilization. The mysterious dark earth known as Terra Preta contrasts with the far less fertile, ruddy brown soil that surrounds it. Experts have long believed that the indigenous Native Americans created this soil before the arrival of the Spanish and Portuguese conquistadors and had used it for centuries, possibly millennia, to grow sustaining crops to fuel Amazonian civilizations. But how the miracle substance was created has remained a mystery. Now a multidisciplinary team of scientists working with indigenous peoples has revealed that the ancient Amazonians not only intentionally created the rich soil thousands of years ago, but their modern-day descendants are still making new Terra Preta today. According to an article in the journal Nature, Lucas Silva, an environmental scientist at the University of Oregon, who was not involved in the new study, said, "This could change everything. If the study's findings can be substantiated, it would be the first demonstration of modern creation of dark earth that others can replicate. But the scientist is not convinced the process is as fast and simple as the new study suggests." He added, "I don't think we're there yet." The Amazon's Terra Preta is much darker, black or dark brown, more fertile, and holds much more organic carbon than most of the region's soils. Crops thrive in it because of its high phosphorus, nitrogen and calcium content. And because of its supercharged carbon content, scientists consider it an important carbon reservoir that sequesters greenhouse gases. It remains a tantalizing puzzle how ancient and apparently non-advanced people could have created something that is chemically geared towards crop production when they are believed to have had no knowledge of the existence of the biochemistry of the soil at all. Perhaps inevitably this has attracted theories of missing advanced civilizations once existing in the depths of the Amazon rainforest. And this is perhaps strengthened by the fact that Terra Preta is usually found near archaeological sites. The rich soil contains charcoal, organic matter from food remains such as fish and animal bones, and ancient artifacts such as pottery shards, hinting that ancient civilizations contributed to creating it. Researchers have failed to conclusively determine whether the indigenous populations made it on purpose or it occurred serendipitously from their practices. Mr. Silva and others have even suggested nutrients were added to the earth via natural processes thousands of years before human habitation. Morgan Schmidt, an archaeologist and geographer at the Federal University of Santa Catarina, launched a study to find the truth about dark earth once and for all. The team focused on the Quicuro indigenous territory in the upper Xingu River in the southeastern Amazon of Brazil. There, scientists studied soil from 4 archaeological sites as well as 2 historic villages occupied from 1973 to 1983 and 1 modern village, Quicuro II. Radiocarbon dating revealed the oldest sample is 5,000 years old and most range from 300 to 1,000 years old. Researchers compared Terra Preta collected from mounds bordering the ancient and historic villages, plazas and roads with soil collected at the periphery of these sites. They discovered that the soil from the residential areas contained more than double the organic carbon and was less acidic by 1 pH unit than the peripheral soil, making it much more fertile. The residential samples also had far denser concentrations of chemical elements associated with human intervention, such as phosphorus, potassium and calcium, than those from the periphery. When the team analysed soil from Quicuro II, where hundreds of villagers live and grow cassava, corn, papaya, bananas and other crops, they found a similar pattern. The soil from the residential centre of the village was much more fertile than from the outskirts. This suggested modern practices are still capable of generating Terra Preta. The team published a report in the journal Science Advances. They calculated about 4,500 tonnes of stored soil carbon at one archaeological site, whereas the modern village had 110 tonnes of carbon stored in middens. To figure how the Quicuro made this modern Terra Preta, Schmidt, who has been working in the region for more than 20 years, joined with Quicuro villagers, including co-author Takuwate Quicuro. Together they noted that residents gather fish and cassava waste in waste heaps that grow up to 60 centimetres in height. The nutrients from the decaying matter slowly seep down into the soil. After a few years, residents use this soil to plant crops that would not perform well in unmodified soil. The researchers also documented how Kwikuro farmers purposefully spread organic ash and charcoal, as well as cassava waste in fields, which they call ilubepe, literally what was ashes, to fertilise the soil and form dark earth, or igepe, for later cultivation. Villagers helped the team study the soil of their village, as well as ancient archaeological sites, to compare nutrient and carbon contents. Kanu Kwikuro, an elder and farmer, told the team in interviews, "Charcoal and ash we sweep, gather it up, and then throw it where we will plant to turn into beautiful igepe. There we can plant sweet potatoes. When you plant where there is no igepe, the soil is weak. That's why we throw the ash, cassava peelings and pulp." Whereas most of the villagers and scientists interviewed agreed that their actions directly contributed to the creation of Terra Preta, a few gave different accounts, positing that Taugi, the sun god, created Dark Earth, or it was their ancestors who made it, not them. The new results are important for indigenous people in the region, says Takuwate Kwikuro, who helped interview residents and excavate archaeological sites. He said, "We already know what Black Earth is, but we didn't know how it worked. We know what actually happens with the land, how old it is, and why it's good for cultivating." He added that other villagers were now keen to take part in the research. Mr. Schmidt said there is evidence that Terra Preta is tied to the ancient indigenous groups living in the Amazon for thousands of years, but the study is the first time scientists have documented its creation in modern times. That's something new as well that nobody's ever really shown before, and the most likely explanation is that they were doing the same things in the past, he added. Mr. Silver said, "This is really novel. I've never seen anything like this done for the origin of Dark Earth," although he cautioned that there was not enough evidence to prove that ancient inhabitants were creating Terra Preta in the same way. Lilian Rebellato, a geoarchaeologist at the Federal University of Western Para, concurred. She said, "We can say that it is human and environmental forces together working in changing the landscape." She believes the modern process would need to be described more clearly, and research should be widened to see if we can trace this knowledge through time and through the Amazon. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and most importantly subscribe. And you can also support the channel on Subscribestar via the link in the description, or via YouTube Super Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.